So I want to have the last part of this conversation with my buddy David. David, where are you, man? Come on up. Everybody say, hey, David. He's coming from the back, so I guess you're going to have to applaud and make noise and encourage him, make him feel good about himself all the way up.
I was giving you time to say nice things about me.
Oh, look. Do you see the difference? This one's slightly taller. You're taller than me. I'm going to give you the king's seat. And it did. Hang on, I got to dry that off. That's from my drink. So, how are you, brother?
How you doing?
Great, man. Okay, so you are helping from the legacy side of giving, and God has taken you through these massive journeys. You and I have been in deep conversations. I've talked to them about things like the last will and testament stuff and said we would be getting in conversations. So let me just jump in right here and let's just have a brief but important conversation. Why bother at all? Why at our age and stage is it important for us all to have a will? If you've never thought about it, here's a moment. So.
Yeah, you know, it's funny, as I lead Legacy now for 4 years, in our church, and we have about 500 of you, and there's a number of you that are in our legacy team. The conversation comes up more times than not about how do we leave a legacy at the end. And a number of people just don't even have a will in place, which is shocking to me because we're talking about people who are super generous in their walk with God, and have been, you know, like us. You know, Lonnie and I, we've been on this, this journey of generosity for years now, right? From tithing to giving above the tithe. And about 10 years ago, we got really focused on this. And as we were walking through that, we went and had conversations with people like David Green, who is the founder of Hobby Lobby, if you know him. I didn't say the owner of Hobby Lobby, I said the founder of Hobby Lobby, because he's literally given that whole business away. Before he passes away, he wants to give that to the kingdom. And so I'm asking him questions like, how do you navigate that with your kids, blah, 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 blah. And then we walk into this opportunity to lead Legacy, and we're thinking about all the different ways that we can give. And then even Lonnie and I, as we already had a will, we hadn't really thought about how can we be generous when we're gone and we're in heaven, and how does that affect our kids? And so that's a conversation that you and I have had several times.
Yeah, we have. And should everybody have a will? I mean, do you have to have a net worth of 20 million to have a will?
No. No.
So,
and by the way, we do not have a net worth of 20 million, so don't.
Okay, yeah. Well, I have a net worth of $1 billion, but in heaven, I hope. So why should any of us have a will? Because it doesn't matter the stage we're at financially.
Well, for us, the reason why we initially did that was we have 6 kids. They're all adults now. The 2 just graduated from college. Amen. Thank God. And so, you know, we needed to put something in place at the time to make sure that we didn't want our kids fighting over things after we were gone. We've seen that in a number of our friend relationships, and that's just terrible. So that was the first reason why we did it.
And if it's not clear, somebody else gets to make those decisions.
That's right.
Anyway, so even as a good steward of it.
Yep.
And we're going to hit how we can help people with that.
Yep.
So basically, I literally would encourage every living, breathing human being to have a will. Would you not?
I would, and especially now, as we've evolved through this, and actually it opened up conversations with our kids about what our intentions were, and as we've walked through that in our family meetings, especially over the last 5 or 6 years, what we landed on was we love our church. We trust our church, and we trust when we give through our church. And why would that stop at that point? And as we've had these conversations in our family meetings, we've been able to feel secure in what we are doing. And so we've actually, as we've built out and changed our will over the years, we've included 12 Stone in that, to a point where it's it's the dominant piece in our giving. And the reason we do that is because that's where our heart is.
And really, we're not just stewards of what we have while we're here. We're stewards of what God's handed to us as we leave. I just want to stir the conversation, and you'll see why in a minute. I just want to stir the conversation. You're a steward while you're here on earth. And I don't care if you're worth 10,000 or 10 million or 110 million, you're a steward of it. So you get to make decisions about what happens with those resources at your exit. And then in these long conversations over the last few years, and I will admit, most of these are fresh to me. They were new things as I got older that I had not considered. I can lay up treasure in heaven when I exit. And therefore, Marcia and I have tithed plus through our lives, but what if we hit the end of our journey and whatever we had left and we say goodbye and we go to see Jesus, we leave a portion of that. We start talking about, what if we had conversations with everybody 50 plus and said, just think about being a steward of what you've been entrusted with your whole life and still be a steward all the way to the end, and use the tool of a will that not only legally helps your family and helps you, but it actually establishes what you have valued your whole life. Nobody's going to tell you how to give. The effort isn't to tell you how to distribute or how to give it or how to handle it. It's to stir the conversation. You're a steward. You should think about how you steward that all the way to the end. And I wish we could stir in our church and every other church. We should be shrewd. Like, why wouldn't you leave something that advances the kingdom at your exit, and literally you're still getting treasure in heaven on the way up? I don't even know how that works on the way up, but on the way up, you're still adding treasure. If you believe this, then it's profound.
Well, that's what, when I met with David Green, that's what he unlocked. In fact, he said something kind of blew me away. He goes, think about all of these universities that have these huge endowments. Those endowments come from bequests from alumni, right? And he goes, where are you the alumni of? And I said, oh, okay. I knew he wasn't talking about a college. I knew he was talking about our Heavenly Father. And he really unlocked that with me. And that's when I came back and we started to have this conversation as a couple and then ultimately as a family. I wanted to set that up so that we could give more to the kingdom. Probably at that point, larger than anything that we will have ever done in our life.
And most people don't think that they have much, but they don't think about the fact that your house you're living in, but once you exit, it sells, or I don't know, however, maybe you give it to your kids, whatever the path. But to help people get to it, you accepted an assignment. And the assignment was, David, what if we can be a part of something bigger than 12 Stone that helps solve this? And we weren't the only ones thinking about it. So I mentioned in last session that we would be talking about this. Tell us what's been developing.
Yeah, so if you know anything about me, I have a technology background, build software, and so I go, gosh, there's got to be a better and easier way for people to go through this than to have to go in front of an attorney and go through this whole process. And we were able, over the last year, to work with a partner and with local attorneys here in Georgia, and we were able to build this out, and more importantly, we're able to offer this free of charge to 12-stoners who choose to do this. And the cool thing is you can literally go to our website. If you go to 12stone.com and you go to the Give button, you can see it behind me. You click on the Give button. It opens this up and it will show you all the ways to give, but you'll notice there's another button that says Other Ways to Give. And there's stock and cryptocurrency and donor advised funds and all kinds of different things, but at the bottom, you're actually going to see a button for wills, and you can click on that button and it will open up our own 12-Stone portal for wills through our partner Will Fora. And you click on Start My Will, and I'm not kidding you when I say this. I built our will, and you would think that we have some complex will procedure. Had our will done in less than 15 minutes, about 10 minutes. And then you have to take that and get it obviously notarized, things like that. But that way, you can walk right through the will. You don't have to give anything to 12 Stone. You can just build this for yourself.
Yeah.
That's what we wanted to do.
And 12 Stone doesn't get access to this.
Not at all.
No. When you put your email address, it's to privatize it. It is not so that Pastor Jason now accumulates all your private information. This is a gift under David Metter leadership and with others in the U.S. that said we got to make this available to people to make it easy. Isn't that the cool? Come on, isn't that cool? I mean, that's better than that. This is fantastic. So literally, if you're sitting here like, man, how do you do a will? It's going to guide you through it. You don't have to assign anything to a local church or our church or anything. And so they can walk through the whole thing, print it out, take it to a notary, have it notarized. Is it done?
All those things are true. And then put it somewhere where it's safeguarded in a box that's fireproof, just to make sure that it's safe. That's it. And I forgot. There's more.
And there's more, one more.
I've always wanted to do that as part of an infomercial. You can update it at any time, and there's no cost. So if you choose to go in like we do and update it every single year, all you have to do is go through the system. It's saved everything for you. You update what you want. You have to go back, obviously, through, have it notarized, and keep the updated copy. But all of that is through the greatness of our church that we're doing for our congregation.
Come on. Thank you, my friend.